HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Insides, a novel by Jeremy P. Bushnell, read by R.C. Bray. There is a time in life when you expect the world to be always full of new things, and then comes a day when you realize that is not how it will be at all. You see that life will become a thing made of holes. Helen MacDonald, H is for Hawk. You want to know what it's like in there? The fact is, you spend all those years trying to make something of it. Then guess what? It starts making something of you. M. John Harrison, Nova Swing. Prologue. When Ollie was 18, she was given a decision to make, and she never would have made the decision to follow the warlock if it hadn't been for his dog, which was about the friendliest-looking dog she'd ever seen. She'd been sitting on the wide concrete rim of a fountain in Tompkins Square Park, and the mutt came trotting up to her, his enormous brown ears alert. He put his massive paws up onto her knees, locked eyes with her, and plopped his muzzle into her waiting hand. "Oh, hello," she said. She turned the dog's head this way and that, admiring the messy mix of gold and brown and cream in his face. He had a red bandana tied around his neck, so she guessed he had an owner nearby. She looked up in search of the owner, and then she found him. The warlock. She never would have made the decision to follow him if he hadn't been young like her. He might have been a little older. She guessed 19. When you're an 18-year-old girl spending most of your days wandering around the city, you come across a fair number of people, mostly men, who try to get you to follow them somewhere. Lots of them are older, sometimes way older. And Ollie had learned that the guys who were older almost always meant bad news in one way or another. Not that younger guys were ever totally safe. They weren't. She'd learned that, too. And so Ollie gave this guy the quick, assessing look that by this point in her life she'd pretty much mastered. In quick succession, she noted his grubby black t-shirt, his gray utility pants, his tattooed hands, his scruffy beard, his unkempt hair. None of it gave Ollie much confidence that he might be trustworthy, that he might be anything other than a threat in a city full of them, except maybe his hair, which mirrored her own in its kinky wildness. But having the friendliest dog ever half up in her lap had lowered her defenses just enough for her to give the warlock a second look, and this time she looked at his eyes, at his lips, and she noticed an openness there, a kindness. It's not that he wasn't looking at her with attention, with interest, he was, but he was also looking at her without cruelty. With intention, yes, but without calculation. She wasn't used to experiencing one without the other. She almost didn't know what to do with that. It knocked something loose in her sense of what was possible, in a way that was, frankly, a little bit scary. So she wouldn't have followed him if she hadn't also been with her friend Victor, a queer Colombian kid she knew from the group home, her companion all through that summer. He wasn't her protector or anything. He was only about half her size, so she was pretty sure that in the event of a real throwdown she'd be the one protecting him, but that wasn't the point. The point was that there was safety in numbers, always, that people were way less likely to fuck with you when you were with somebody else, anybody else. So when the warlock, his name they'd later learn was Jerry, asked them what they were up to, Ollie said, "Nothing," instead of, "Leave us the fuck alone." And when the warlock asked them if they wanted to see something cool, Ollie said, "Sure." And then the warlock took them to the second floor of an abandoned building and showed them something cool. It was something like an altar, or a workbench, or a shrine. It was a long, flat table surrounded by a collection of symbols graffitied onto the walls behind it and by a set of eclectic artifacts arranged on the floor. A bleached cow skull, a cracked Virgin Mary figurine, an outlet strip, a belt buckle with a picture of a 16-wheeler on it. The friendliest dog sniffed around, pushed a few items out of place with his nose. Jerry didn't seem to mind. "What is all this?" Ollie asked. "Magic," Jerry said. Ollie and Victor didn't say anything. Ollie didn't know if she believed in magic or not, but she knew that the room was very beautiful, and that it held within it a kind of meaning that she didn't often get the chance to experience. She knew that she wanted to spend more time inside rooms like this if she could. "What would you say," Jerry said, "if I told you that using nothing more than the items in this room you could get anything you wanted?" "I'd say you are a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?